Hello and welcome to this review of a classic episode of Doctor Who, and I've not done a review of a classic episode before on this channel, so this is going to be the first. I have watched a lot of classic episodes in my time, but today I'm just going to be talking about Time Flight. So without further ado, here are 7 things I want to say about Time Flight. First of all, the Doctor. I absolutely love the 5th Doctor. I think he's one of the best classic Doctors, if not the best classic Doctor. Not counting Paul McGann, because Paul McGann I see more of a sort of intermediate Doctor. He was at the time of change in the show where it became something modern, and because Big Finish is updating all the time and they're updating the 8th Doctor as they go, I find that the 8th Doctor is actually not classic but not quite modern yet either. So best Doctor for the classics is Peter Davison, yeah. I think he has a really good set of things to do, and it really shows off his Doctor in a lovely way. Sort of interesting, but always good in a busy situation and a tough situation. That is the Doctor. On to companions. We are reeling from the death of Adric at the start of this episode. That lasts about sort of a minute, 2 minutes maximum, before they start going on holiday to forget about Adric. We also have Nyssa and Tegan, not the most winning combination in the TARDIS ever. I'm not actually that keen on either of the characters. Nyssa can be... Her power, her skill set massively varies from episode to episode, and they seem to give her something new that she can do each episode, and that's no different in Time Flight. Tegan, on the other hand, is there, complaining in our Australian accent as usual, which a whiny Australian accent really gets on my nerves, whereas a normal Australian accent seeming quite happy, well, that is just bonza. And there we go, a lovely section of racism for you there. Point 3 is that there's no immediate incarceration. The Doctor's not immediately thrown in jail for slanderous comments about time travel. Whoa, you're talking nonsense, Doctor. Chuck him in jail. Whoa. No, for once they actually believe what he's saying and just get on with it. And it is so very refreshing to see that in a classic episode of Doctor Who. Just proves that you don't need to have the Doctor escaping from a prison in every episode of classic Doctor Who. And I don't think he actually has to escape a prison as such at all throughout the entire story. I think that is very refreshing, very nice, and yes, I like that. Point 4 is the Master. Now, when we first see the villain of the episode, it's this... I can't even remember his name, but it's the Master in a disguise, and he's this sort of... doing some sort of ancient ritual. And then Ritual Man gets defeated and he's sort of spewing green pus, and then it turns out he's the Master, which is weird. Where did the green pus come from? What exactly was that whole section? Why was he pretending to be that character? Why was he why did he need to be in disguise? I don't understand. It felt like he was just in disguise for the sake of a good reveal. The Master is still alive. Oh, what a shock and horror. And we sort of knew that was going to happen, didn't we? Yes. Weird. Very weird. Not sure about that bit, but there we are. Moving on from the Master, we have point 5, the visuals of the episode. Now, what you need to remember is this is the early 80s of Doctor Who, and actually the green screen, though very noticeable, was probably as bad as it got. The Concorde sections of it actually flying, I think some of that was actually real flying footage. Some of that obviously is model shots, but believable model shots. I have to give it to the model team that they do make some realistic models that look like they could be in the real world. Otherwise, yeah, the green screen was noticeable. Visually, the castle and the trying to get to the inner sanctum past all these people was very much like, and I know that this episode came before it, but the Five Doctors, if you've ever seen that, as they're going further into the Tower of Rassilon, there's these projections that are trying to stop them from getting any further in. This is done first in this episode, Time Flight. However, I've watched them in the wrong order, so it seems to be a repeat. It's not. And it was nice just for Matthew Waterhouse to have one last little scene in there, even if he wasn't real and was actually just an astral projection or something similar. Point 6 is the other plot points. I think that the other main plot point of this episode, apart from escaping this strange, obscure world where the Concords have landed and you have to really think about the place before you realise it's not real. The other plot point is the battle, the inner battle within your mind of good versus evil. You know what's right, you know what's wrong, you know you could do the right thing and benefit from it, but at the same time you could choose to do the wrong thing, and it seems to be the better option, but it's about choosing the light side against the dark side, and I've just realised that this is very representative of that. The alien race, there's a good one and a bad one, and they're trying to tip the balance one way or the other to decide how the race will survive. I think that's an interesting plot point, and it's been done in other sci-fi shows, but it's done here as well, and I like it. It was a good subplot to the story and a good way of moving the story along in an interesting way. Lastly, my final thoughts are point 7. As far as classic stories go, this is one of the better ones I've seen. The creatures, though humanoid and just sort of face painted with maybe some prosthetics, they're believable, I suppose. The Master didn't really need to be in disguise, but is anyway, and it's just funny to watch. Tegan and Nyssa, though not keen on their characters, were bearable in this episode. Adric was dead, so that's fine. I love Peter Davison's Doctor, so there's not a lot more I can say about that. So thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this review. If you have, then please give it a like. Do subscribe to my channel if you are new. And I hope to do a few more classic episode reviews, because, hey, there's plenty to do while Doctor Who's not on, so yeah. Thanks for watching, and I shall see you next time for something else. Ta-ta.